Ever since the famed Greek philosopher Plato first wrote of a fabled continent called Atlantis more than 2000 years ago, scholars have been thinking whether such a place truly existed. Such is a bit like imagining an elephant could walk through a snowdrift without leaving footprints, making it easy to ignore the entire subject as yet another example of New Age pseudoscience or a fantastic and historically indefensible fable. After all, Plato described the place being as large as North Africa and Asia combined, and yet no one has managed to produce as much as a coral reef that might have marked its ancient shoreline, much less an entire submerged continent. Did Atlantis exist? And if it did, where could it have been? While no one can answer that question with any degree of certainty, there are quite a few competing theories out there to consider. It's commonly believed that Atlantis had been in the Pacific Ocean. Atlantis witnessed giant floods and volcanic eruptions. After these disasters, only about 2 million people survived the flood from an original 65 known million. But Atlantis couldn't survive. It disappeared from the map. Interestingly, the Greeks were not the only ones to maintain a belief in an ancient, island-bound civilization. India and the Asian continent have their own tradition which they call Lemuria, an island civilization that supposedly existed in the Indian Ocean. The idea that such a place existed was first postulated by 19th century zoologist Philip Sclater. His premise that Madagascar and India may have once been part of a larger continent which he named Lemuria has been rendered obsolete by modern understanding of plate tectonics, which consistently demonstrate that while sunken continents do exist, there is no known geological formation under the Indian Ocean that corresponds to Sclater's hypothetical Lemuria. The fate of Lemuria was the same as Atlantis. It sank beneath the ocean due to cataclysms and human imbalance.
There are also interesting beliefs and theories about Atlantis and Lemuria. According to arguments, the legend of Atlantis is a story about a moral spiritual people who lived in highly advanced utopian civilization. But they became greedy, petty, and morally bankrupt, and the gods became angry because the people had lost their way and turned into immoral pursuits. As punishment, the gods sent one terrible night of fire and earthquakes that caused Atlantis to sink into the sea. However, about 2 million of people managed to survive, and many of them were the mutant humans that had been genetically altered by the Atlanteans into a much lower state of consciousness. Also, the fact that firmament was no longer in existence resulted in DNA and thus consciousness breaking down even further. On the other hand, many writers expanded theories and added speculations as to where Atlantis may have been. In the 1970s, it was claimed that Atlantis was a real continent located off the Bahamas that had fallen victim to the notorious Bermuda Triangle, a region of Atlantic where a number of ships had supposedly disappeared under mysterious circumstances.
First Atlantis idea was made up by Plato, indicating Greek mythology. However, even mythology is a supernatural theory. It is not scientific. There is no clue or reminders that we can make experiment on. We can't follow scientific method steps. If we can't make any experiment, we can say it is scientific. In addition, the truth of Atlantis and Lemuria claims cannot be tested, so we can't make an absolute decision about their existence. Being based on mythology. Using no scientific method or experiment. Being untestable. Because of these and other reasons, Atlantis and Lemuria is a pseudoscience.
Created using Powtoon.